You know that slow ache when someone begins to fade, not with a goodbye, not with anger, but with distance so subtle it almost feels like your imagination. One day, their texts become shorter, then the calls feel strained. The warmth that once wrapped around your conversations now barely flickers. You feel it, that growing space, but you can't point to one specific moment when it began. Still, your heart notices. It tenses. It urges you to reach out, to fix whatever's gone wrong. But that instinct, that desperate grasp for closeness, only pushes them further away. It's not because you're too much or not enough. Because they've stopped feeling the weight of your presence. You've been giving so freely, so consistently, they've mistaken your love for something endless, expected. You become background noise in a life you used to be the center of. And still, you want to hold on. You think maybe if you explain, if you ask the right question, if you say the perfect thing, they'll come back. Move deep down, you know. You know that real respect is never earned through chasing. It's found in the withdrawal, in the pause. In the moment, you finally stop trying to prove your worth. This isn't about being cold or distant out of spite. It's about reclaiming what was always yours. Your power, your peace, your presence. When someone assumes you'll always be there, they stop showing up for you. But when your silence replaces your effort, they feel it. They remember. And it's in that stillness that they finally realize you were never meant to be taken for granted. You were meant to be chosen every day with intention. If they can't see that, then maybe it's time you do. There's a quiet danger in becoming predictable. At first, it feels like love showing up consistently, always being available, texting first, saying yes even when you're tired, rearranging your world just to keep someone else in it. You tell yourself it's what people do when they care. But over time, that consistency turns into invisibility. You become the person who's always there, always easy to reach, always ready to give. And while your heart is sincere, the truth is that predictability suffocates attraction. When there's no mystery left, no space for curiosity or longing, the connection starts to wither. Human nature doesn't crave what's always there. It craves what feels earned, what feels real, what feels alive. Being too available can start to feel like self-betrayal. You give and give, hoping it will make them stay, but all it really does is show them they don't have to try. It's not about playing games, it's about restoring a natural balance. When you stop being so obvious, when you pause instead of always reaching out, you leave room for them to wonder where you went. Something changes. The energy shifts. They feel the gap. In that space, attraction has a chance to breathe again. You're not withdrawing out of bitterness. You're pulling back because you finally see your own value. When you allow yourself to be less predictable, you become more powerful. You remind them that your presence isn't a given, it's a choice. And if they can't meet you halfway, then they were never truly walking with you to begin with. Being unavailable sometimes isn't selfish, it's self-respect. Because the right person won't just want your presence, they'll want to earn it. Energy doesn't lie. Long before you say a word, your absence is already speaking. The shift happens. Quietly, you stop reaching out. You stop responding with urgency. You stop giving updates they never asked for. There's no big announcement, no dramatic exit, just silence. And that silence begins to echo. They may not acknowledge it out loud, but they feel it. People are deeply intuitive when it comes to energy. They notice when yours is no longer centered around them. And the truth is, you don't have to say anything to be heard. When you pull your energy back, the entire dynamic changes. What once felt secure to them now feels uncertain. What once felt predictable now becomes unfamiliar. And that unfamiliarity forces them to notice the space where you used to be. This isn't about manipulation, it's about alignment. It's about no longer pouring your time and soul into someone who stopped valuing it. You're not trying. To get a reaction, you're just no longer reacting yourself. Your peace becomes louder than your presence ever was. The most powerful message you can send isn't a long paragraph or an emotional plitz your growth without them. When you stop showing up the same way, when you stop giving them access to your mind and heart, they start to realize what they lost. You didn't disappear to punish them. You simply returned to yourself. The silence they hear is not emptiness. It's your voice without noise, your strength without performance. Let them feel that. Let them see that their absence didn't break you, it rebuilt you. The version of you that doesn't chase, doesn't explain, doesn't beg, that's the version they never expected. And that's the version they'll never forget. This isn't a pause where you wait, hoping they'll come back. This is the part where you rebuild. Too often people confuse silence with stillness, as if you're frozen in time, just counting the days until someone returns. But silence is not inactivity. It's where real transformation begins. While they wonder what you're doing, you're evolving in ways they'll never anticipate. You're not checking their profile. You're not replaying old messages. You're focused. On your own momentum, you start small. A new morning routine. A different path at the gym. Books that sharpen your thinking. Conversations with people who see your worth without being reminded. Day by day, you begin to remember who you were before you forgot yourself in trying to keep them close. The version of you they left behind was learning, was giving too much, was hoping too loudly. But this version is refining, redirecting, and rising. Growth doesn't happen in loud declarations. It shows up in consistent action, in quiet commitment. The body changes, the mind clears, the spirit strengthens. And when they do look back, it won't be the silence that hits them. It will be the undeniable progress. It's a glow they once ignored, the peace they used to interrupt. You're not rebuilding out of revenge. You're not leveling up to be seen. You're doing it because you finally understand that your value isn't proven through sacrifice, but through self-respect. If they return, they'll face someone they no longer recognize. And whether you let them back in or not, that decision will come from power, not pain. Because this chapter was never about getting them back, it was about getting yourself back. And in that process, you become someone who doesn't wait. You become someone who leads. They might come back. Maybe one day curiosity or regret will lead them to reach out, a message, a call, a sudden like on an old photo, some quiet attempt to reopen a door they once walked away from. And in that moment, you'll feel something. Not because you still need them, but because you've grown. Because now, their return no longer stirs desperation, it sparks clarity. This isn't your victory lap. It's your test. The mistake most people make is treating a return like a reward, as if being missed is proof of worth. But it's not. Their return should never override your reality. Must ask yourself, did they come back changed or just empty? Did they come back with growth or just guilt? Are they here for you or simply escaping the silence they created? The version of you that once craved their attention now evaluates it. You're no longer the same. If you don't seek validation, you hold standards. What once was acceptable no longer fits. This isn't about punishing them, it's about protecting you. You've rebuilt a life that's full without their presence. If they come back, they're not stepping into the past. They're entering your present, and your present has new rules. You don't need them to stay to feel whole. That was the old you. The new you knows peace, not performance. Knows how to receive love without losing self. Knows that presence isn't enough consistency. Respect and growth matter more. If they truly see your value now, they'll show it without words. But if they come back expecting the same access to a different you, the answer may be simple. No. Because real power isn't about proving you've moved on. It's about reaching a place where, whether they come back or not, no longer defines your worth.